What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we have something very, very exciting to talk about. Could end up not being true. Could just be another random leak, another random rumor that is just posted by somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. But the potential behind this is very, specifically for me, and I think honestly a lot of you guys too, I think we share a love in a small indie franchise known as Uncharted, right? Been around a couple years, had one or two big hits. We're all a big fan, okay? Well, my good friend over on Twitter, now I'm going to get your name wrong, Aruda. Hopefully I'm saying that right. There's no way I am, though. Thank you, by the way, for sending me this. He sent me a potential leak about the Uncharted Chronicles, which would be all of the Uncharted games remastered. So we'll talk about, we'll actually read out what this leak said. We'll go over it. We'll see if it's going to happen. Really quickly, before I get too far into it, make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, we're very, very close to 2,000 followers. Would love to have you guys over there. You can follow me over on Podcast Now 15. The link for it is always in the description, or of course you guys can just look me up on Twitter. All right, so let's read this. From an internal source of the marketing department of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, I read an email regarding the latest developments from a recent presentation meeting held in the company's offices between Naughty Dog development teams and Sony's corporate marketing department. The meeting illustrated the medium-term plans that are still set for the current fiscal year 2021. The meeting began with a brief presentation of the new Uncharted Chronicles edition for PC and PS5, a new collection that includes all the games released in the franchise from PS3 to the latest release games on PS4, which also includes Golden Abyss, with upgrades to frames per second, textures, and resolutions. Uncharted Chronicles edition launch is currently set for 2021 on these platforms. Now, again, I want to believe it. I do. I mean, and in a way, I think this will eventually happen. There's a couple things, though, I want to point out. One of the odd things that happened with Final Fantasy, now, obviously, that's a very different game than Uncharted, but, bear with me. Final Fantasy VII, there were so much talk on that game coming to PS5 and PC that it would be a Game of the Year edition, be a complete edition, whatever. It's coming out on PS5, but not on PC, at least not right away, on June 10th. Which I will say shocked me, because I do think it makes sense that, even for a game like that, after 1 year of it being out, sure, it's kind of a new game because you're going to have DLC attached, but I guess that one was a kind of different example because it is the same game. You get the free upgrade, and then you have to buy the Yuffie DLC separately. So that's a confusing one, but the general gist of it is, for months, we thought that game was coming to PS5 and PC. So the PC thing worries me, or is kind of weird about this leak. Now, a couple things. Number one, I've even called this. I have predicted that at some point in the next year or so, and I've said this out loud, and I've said this on Twitter and all this stuff, that I do think Sony will have every Uncharted game put together. Because if you think about it, it's called the Nathan Drake collection because it's Uncharted 1 through 3. It doesn't include Golden Abyss, which obviously I would say is still part of that, but it also doesn't include, now obviously Lost Legacy, Uncharted 4 came afterwards, but there's nowhere to play all of these games combined, and technically, specifically because of Lost Legacy, it's not just the Nathan Drake collection. So if you were going to do it again, you would need to come up with a new name. Uncharted Chronicles actually does sound insanely cool. So there's that. Also, I believe 2 days ago on my second channel, we talked, which again you could subscribe there too, Podcast Now Plus if you guys want to. Links in the description. See how easy these plugs are. We did talk about, there was another leak that talked about future games that were PS4 games that are coming to PC, and some of those games were Bloodborne, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, and an Uncharted collection, or the Nathan Drake collection. No, I feel like they called it the Uncharted collection. So, again, a few days ago, we literally just talked about somebody saying that game, the PS4 collection game, would be coming to PC. So, is this that much of a, like a left turn versus that? Not really, because all this is saying is, hey, it will come to PC, but it's not just going to be the Nathan Drake collection. It's going to be all the Uncharted. We're going to fix Golden Abyss. We're going to fix the Lost Legacy, Uncharted 4. We're going to get all of those things patched up nice and good, and we're going to release it on PC and PS5. I guess the only thing that makes me think, again, it won't happen goes back to the Final Fantasy thing, because for Uncharted, there's, again, no place to play all of these games in the same place, okay? You can play 1 through 3, you can play 4, you can play Lost Legacy, you can play Golden Abyss. They're all separate, okay? If you put them all together, which is ideal, and I would like that at some point in my life, okay? But if you did that, it would be the first time you did that. So the question is, going to Sony's strategy, they are a kind of studio, they're kind of company that wants the games on PlayStation first. They're not going to put, at least in my opinion, and what they've said and shown so far. I mean, obviously, it's not just my opinion. I would say it's backed up by evidence of them doing it. They have done this for a long time. They let the game go on PlayStation first, and then when they've gotten the most amount of people they're going to get to buy it, then they put it to PC. So I guess the thing that kind of worries me, or not worries me in a way of I don't know if it's real or not, is the fact that it says it's coming for PC. Because again, then I get it. You're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, and Lost Legacy for the first time together, and Golden Abyss. You would be playing them all for the first time together wherever you're playing them. So would they want to take that risk on PC? But with that being said, you already can play all of them individually in their own place. You know what I mean? I guess the question would be, how many people do they think they would get if you only put it on PS5 to buy this Chronicles game? How many people would you get? And then, if you put it on PS5 and on PC, and you did this Chronicles game, how many people would you get then? And if the number is too, alarmingly bad, then maybe you would just put it on PS5. So, I could make the case either or. It's been a long time since I played Golden Abyss. I mean, I played all of them, so I absolutely want this. Again, I do think it's only a matter of time. Another thing actually that kind of scares me is they say Naughty Dog. I don't know if Naughty Dog would be doing it. They seem to have their hands tied, doing 1,000 other things. I don't know if it would be them. So the fact that they throw in Naughty Dog in there to kind of make it seem, and you notice the beginning of this is very official. There was literally a marketing meeting between Naughty Dog and them, and they pitched them the idea. So some of it doesn't sound all that official. Some of it does sound like they're trying a little bit too hard, and it could just be, it is just my opinion, and it could just be me kind of reading into it too much, because I do want it, and I don't want to be led astray. I also don't want you guys to be led astray, but there are some tendencies you see in fake rumors, whether it be Reddit or 4chan or Reset Era or whatever. You can kind of sometimes start to sense reoccurring things in fake posts. Okay, so I want this. I hope it's real. If it's gonna release in 2021, that means obviously we'll hear about it before the end of the year. So I would say, if we go through June, if we go through July, if we go through August, and we still don't hear about it, I would say this was probably not true. Doesn't mean we're not going to get it ever, because again, I really do think that it makes sense. Just same thing with Infamous. I've always talked about how, Infamous 1, 2, even Festival of Blood, and then you have Infamous Second Son and First Light. You can't play them all together. And so they span console generations, and I think you need to, at one point in time, put them all together. You know what I mean? And so I think Infamous will do it. I think Uncharted is obviously an easy candidate, because you got games on PlayStation 3, you got games on PS4, and you even have a game on the beloved, PS Vita, which I did own. So, you have games scattered even worse for Uncharted than you have pretty much anywhere else. So I do think it's only a matter of time. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think? Do you think this is true? Do you think that, even if it's not true, do you think that'll happen anyway? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. Again, as always, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, PodcastNow15. Again, I have a second channel, Podcast Now Plus. All of my social media stuff is in the description below. If you guys want to check any of that stuff out, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.